My name is Mark Hofstetter, and Dr. Monroe is my professor for criminal justice. And to be honest, I wouldn't say I have very much of an affiliation with him because unless you were asking him questions during class time or you needed help while he was teaching, he was a phantom. You couldn't email the guy, you couldn't ask to stay after. It seemed like when he was done with class, he was out the door and gone. I don't know very much about the disappearance. There's been ramblings about him being on the run from some criminal stuff, but knowing the type of person he seemed to be during class, I find that hard to believe. The only thing I know is about halfway through the semester, he just up and disappeared. There's quite a few experiences I could tell you about with Dr. Monroe during that half of a semester because he was a pretty much a character. But one time I was running late because there was a lot of traffic and stuff and I couldn't get here on time. And when I showed up to his classroom, the door was locked. There was blinds over the door, so it seemed like nobody was there. So I kept banging on the door, no answer, until I started screaming because I knew there had to be class. There was no email about it being canceled. Then he opens the door, gives me a death stare. And I sat down and I started eating my sandwich. I brought a sandwich with me that day because I was running late and I didn't think I'd have time to eat it during anything. I take one bite out of the sandwich. He gives me this death stare again. He comes, walks over to me, grabs the sandwich out of my hand, takes a bite out of it, and then slams it in the garbage. And then told me never be late and never eat in his class again. And caught me off guard for sure, but that's pretty much the type of guy he seemed to be. Outside of class, I'd see him poking his head out of his door, just looking left and right, trying to see people. And then as soon as he was done looking out for people, he'd slam the door and lock it like he wanted no one to know what was going on. And a couple times I've seen him in the hallway, and he would literally run down the hallway and keep looking over his shoulders like there's someone following him. The last time I saw him was about a month and a half ago. In class, he was looking at his computer, and out of nowhere, while he was stopped teaching, he just looked very distraught. He was frantically typing. He kept rubbing his hair back. He started sweating like got sent something very serious that he needed to deal with. During class time, he presented himself like a average teacher. He helped people. He did what he needed to. Other than that incident I had with him eating my sandwich and throwing it, he seemed like a good teacher, but I have to say, I never saw him interact with any other coworkers outside of class, and he never helped any students after class. So I'm assuming he didn't really care about the relationships he had with the student. He was just here to do what he needed to do and get out of here. From what I know, he treated them pretty well, other than blowing off emails and any extra help people needed. He seemed like a good teacher to me.